Ever since I was a little kid, I've been a bit obsessed with the idea of love. Growing up, that feeling never really went away, so now, as an actual adult, I'm wondering, is this normal?
Last year I made a short rom-com documentary called The Residue of a Relationship. And what I did learn is that maybe the idea that I grew up with about what romance is, what's romantically acceptable, it might not be the healthiest thing in the world. Over the next 2 days we've got a collection of interviews set up with contributors from across Sheffield basically. So I made a flyer which is over on the wall here, and I sort of went and handed those out around the city and put them up online, and then people got back in touch with me saying that they'd like to contribute and stuff. So we set up some filming. Someone told us about crying in the bath listening to Snow Patrol.
Always fun.
Stories about heartbreak and all sorts of stuff. Yeah, so it's exciting. What do you think love is?
I think love is it's hard.
I think love's that feeling when you don't get sick of somebody, so every time you look at them, it feels new every single day. So every time you look at them and look into their eyes, like, you get excited.
The sciencey side of me thinks that love is probably just a bunch of chemical reactions.
What we call romantic love, what most people talk about love, is being horny for someone, right? Which is the physical aspect of it. But if you experience, like if you have a child, for example, and you experience this deep love and bond for them.
It's, in my world, in my opinion, agreeing to not fuck anyone else.
I thought clearly about the times that I have felt like I was in love, or those moments when you realise you're in love with someone, like really special, significant moments that might not seem it to the outside world, like a look or a smell or a feeling or something. And I think I wanted to collect other people's versions of that, like different people's, a collection of other people's moments where they realised that love was either important, real, or they were experiencing it personally.
I'm in love at the moment. My boyfriend's Asian, Muslim, Pakistani Muslim, British born though, British raised. But his mum's first generation, so she moved over from Pakistan to get married and have her children here. His kind of stance is that I'd never tell my mother that I'm with a white woman. It's never gonna happen. I love my mum. I wouldn't want to hurt and upset her. But then in the same time, he can't bring himself not to be with me. It's a big conflict. It's a big internal conflict. We met at our work's Christmas party. For the first year, no one at work knew, so we kept it secret for the first year at work, and then at the next Christmas party, we came out. His sister knows about me, because she saw text messages on his phone. But to his family, he's just with a friend. My name's never mentioned and never spoke about. And yeah, it's very much a secret. My dream scenario would be to end up with him. I'm quite a fantasist, you know, I sit and daydream. But my hopes would be to marry him and travel the world and have babies and all the good stuff. And his family accept me and just accept me for me.
I know I have been massively influenced by like romantic Hollywood movies and stuff. They were like my religion or something growing up. They're what I really I put my point of view and how I see the world is based on a lot of the stuff in those films.
Romantic love, like the classic conception of it, I think is a bit of a joke. Right, so this is my tattoo. It's from a book called Crying of Lot 49. One of its meanings is that in the book there's a secret society called Inamorata Anonymous, which is like Love Anonymous, and they're these group of people who've kind of sworn off love. They say that love is the worst addiction of all the addictions. Where my bar is set for love, I think is quite a lot lower than a lot of people's. I think I've been in love with like friends and things like that. Like I setting these like divisions between like, you know, like a friendship relationship and a romantic relationship and all these different types. Like I find that they like blur quite a bit, and like I feel like I've had friendships where like becoming friends feels like falling in love. You start noticing really, really, really particular things about someone and things that make them like different, like, oh, they've got like, they hold their hands in like a weird way or something like that. Like really, really specific things about like people's appearance that makes them like uniquely them. And when you notice those, I'm like, oh, it's happening again.
You know, like Tinder and Bumble, and I just don't, like there are some parts of it that like principally I'm not a fan of, like the idea of like that you make this profile because it's not like an accurate, it's not a full picture.
Having the ability to just like try lots of different things is like really develops like what you actually want, which I think was actually really useful to me. So I think it gets a bad rep. I think it can be useful.
Having got to 30 and not being in love, I don't know how people meet anymore. Online dating doesn't work for me. Firstly, Tinder is probably the most shallow thing on planet Earth. How can you possibly judge someone on a photo? Sometimes even one photo. I've had dates, but never relationships. I've seen my sisters do it. I'm from there's four of us. They've all been in really long-term relationships. I've always been the single one. So I have a gay best friend who we've lived together for 10 years. It's very cliche, it's very Will and Grace. I know the pin to his credit card. You know, we wash the dishes, we tidy the house, we live in a domestic setting. And I wonder whether that's enough, actually. I wouldn't say no to someone, but whether seeking out someone is that big a deal. He's an attractive guy. But it's obviously not two-way if he was straight. But yeah, I definitely love him more than a sibling, more than a family member. But definitely, yeah, probably not romantically.
I think love does fuel everything. I think the problem is that we express it in unhealthy ways or fall in love with unhealthy things or people.
I don't think I've broken any hearts. I remember having broken up of a last relationship and being really sad, and it wasn't until I went on like my family laptop and my mum had been Googling what to do when your teenage daughter has her heart broken, and I was like, oh.
There are certain songs I still can't listen to because they are associated, hopefully not forever, but strongly associated to certain people that I believe I loved.
So I met a guy in school. We went to school together for about five to 7 years because we went to sixth form as well. He was a good friend of mine all the way through school, and his girlfriend was a very good friend of mine as well. We were best friends. He started to have urges towards me. He wanted to make our relationship physical, and despite that being, despite her being my close friend, I acted on that. I said, you know what, yeah, let's give it a go. So that I ended up sleeping with my best friend's boyfriend. At the time, it felt amazing. I felt like he'd chosen me out of anybody else. He could have picked anybody. He could have picked a girl. He could have picked anybody, but he chose me. So I felt very honoured. Afterwards was bad, to say the least. He didn't talk to me for weeks. He wouldn't reply to any messages I sent, which I don't know why I expected anything else, really. But it was just like, it was like a flurry of emotions for one night, and then after that it was just completely cut off. She doesn't know that it happened. I recently did like a blog post about it and just got all of my feelings out, and she's read it. I think with the stuff I put in, she could have put two and two together and realised, but she's not messaged me and she's not said, I know it's about them. So we're not best friends anymore, but we're not strangers either.
Hello! Hello! How are you? This is is my friend Jordan. Say hello.
Hello.
So this is my mum and my 2 nephews and my sister.
Hi. Waking up on a morning in a wee covered bed with my husband and my 2 little children, smiling, shouting, "Mummy!" I just feel like it's everything I've got. It's being happy day in, day out. It's missing that person as soon as they leave for work. Loads of people told me before I had children that it'd be completely different love, and I guess it is, but I love them all. Your children are your children, and no matter what they do, you'll never ever disown them. And I'd never disown my husband unless he left me for a hooker. You've got to kiss a lot of frogs before you find your prince, but not too many because you don't want to be labelled. I genuinely do feel like me and Jack are like a fairy tale, so I know it's cheesy, but I do feel like I just knew straight away and I'd have done anything to get to him, which I did.
Well, I met your dad when I was 11 actually, and he was friends with my Auntie Pauline, oldest sister. And then he went away to college. Next time I saw him I was 21. And he was working at a saunas at bottom of Yanannan Street, and me and Auntie Pauline walked down and we saw him. He saw me, I saw him, eye to eye. That were it. We knew we were in love. First meeting. We met again and went out for a meal. That were in the October. December we got engaged. Same year. A long engagement for 8 years, as you know. Then we got married. And we've been married for 31 years. But I would say first time I saw him, only way I can describe it is I got a really giddy, excited feeling in my stomach. And I can honestly say, when your dad works away, or I don't see him for a few days, contrary what you might think, I still get that same feeling when he comes home. So for me, that's love. No, but it is, that's how I feel.
Watching my mum talk about meeting my dad, seeing how much she still loves him, I realised why I am the way I am. All these people came and shared their most intimate stories with us, and I kept asking myself, why? Love is not a perfect thing. I know that. It can be painful, wonderful and scary, sometimes all at once. But I guess I see now, after hearing these stories, the people we love, the way we love, the things we love, well, that's just who we are.